Hey guys, this is Mike, and we're about to start our final character models. And I'm going to show you guys a dope little website called Sketchfab. And I find this website to be incredibly useful because throughout the class I keep mentioning edge flow and topology. You've heard me throw those terms around. And I just want to go over what exactly that is. So let's pull up. You can and in Sketchfab you can just go through any of these types of look at all of these 3D models that are here to look at. Like this is an incredible piece of reference, guys. So like you load in the model and you can kind of just turn your camera around and you can just zoom in on all this nice detail that this artist has put in there. But something else that's like super awesome with this is the model inspector. So if you click on this little button, you get a bunch of options here. And you can turn on the wireframe. And now you can see exactly how they constructed this model. And when I'm talking about edge flow, I'm talking about how these, like you see these edges, like one right here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. You see how this edge loop goes around that orbital socket, that eye socket, and it follows the structure of the face there, you know. So this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about when I'm talking about edge flow and topology. It's how these quads, not the tris, as you see there's very limited use of tris here. And that's because tris kind of destroy that nice edge flow. Because if you needed to create more detail in here, you could just easily pop in an edge loop with the multi-cut tool by holding control, or insert edge loop with the smoothing option on, and you'd get instantly some more detail for that silhouette. See, if I go to the side here, you see it gets a little bit chunky there. So if you inserted an edge loop there, you could get more detail and have a nicer curve. The only thing is, so this model doesn't need that. Like you have to think about where your camera is, right? Like our cameras are probably going to be further away. We're not having any sort of like acting piece like this close up. We're going to be probably like full body or something, or like something like this, you know. So you don't need that much fidelity or realism in terms of like how high your poly count should be, you know. So and we can go through and we just talked about texturing briefly, right? And it was mostly just for coloring so far. However, you'll see that this kind of stuff is where the true power of texturing comes in. Like this, if I zoom out and then turn wireframe off, like that eyebrow looks completely real. And like you would expect there to be polygons there, right? Like quads, like a row of quads. But when you turn on wireframe, you'll see that there's nothing there. That's just been painted on. So that's the advantage of textures, right? Because you get a lot of detail where there otherwise wouldn't be any. And this is a unique setup because when we're going about this final project, I want you to have your final render in mind. Like this is a hand painted style, and I know this lighting looks really nice with like how it has that glowing rim light, you know. But if we turn on matte cap, oh wait, no post processing. Wait, no, that's not right. We just base color. There we go. So we turn on base color, and you'll see that not much has changed. The final render just has some color adjustment, but base color has all of the lighting detail in it, you know. And so if I go over to something, let's see, this heavily armored knight. you'll see that I can rotate the light around in Sketchfab with Alt and left click. But if I go back to that other one, hold Alt and left click, wait, let's turn it on. If I hold Alt and left click, nothing's happening because there's no lights in this scene. But there's lights in this one. And to have that dynamic, like so for instance, if we were in our final project and we animated this character, which you do have to do. You'll be animating characters, and this character turns. You'd see that this light doesn't turn either, or it sticks on the model because it's been painted into the texture, you know. So, but this guy can be fully animated because his lighting information is not painted within the model, you know. It is in a different way though, and I'll show you another advantage of textures. So look at this stuff, like how it has this detailing on his armor right here. But when we go into wireframe mode, you can see that there's still no geometry there. Like there's nothing creating that besides the texture. And if I turn off color, you can just see the matte cap. Wait a minute. Plus surface, there you go. So this shows the lighting information as well in the model. And the lighting information is obtained through making a normal map. Now this technique is a little bit beyond our class. I'm going to be honest, because you have to go through some other programs to create a normal map. I mean, you could do it all within Maya, but as you guys have already observed, this course is pretty jam-packed and it's pretty fast-paced, so we're not going to be able to do normal mapping stuff, unfortunately. But with normal mapping, you can get this kind of nice detail in there. So I just want you guys to be thinking about how much detail you can make with textures versus how much you need to actually model out, right? So since this stuff isn't really changing the silhouette of it, like if you rotated the camera right here, you wouldn't really need to see that detail from the side. So that can just be obtained with the normal map. But like this little etch, that little divot in the armor right here, that would break the silhouette, right? So people are going to need to go in there, lay out their edge loops, and look at the topology of it. It flows around nicely. You can see that they used a try on this part instead, and that kind of destroys the topology of how that edge was flowing around there. Unfortunately, they did that. I'm not exactly sure why, besides saving a little bit of poly count there. But yeah, so I want you guys to be thinking in terms of these shapes. And I'm going to go to nice like human face model, and I'm going to turn on wireframe. And you'll see that this one, this is where, because a lot of you guys have characters with faces, and faces are pretty hard to do. And you'll see that you have edge loops. The edge flow kind of rotates around the mouth here, and you have edges also that go around the eyes, right? And the problem with faces is that you have so many different shapes, like different unique organic shapes that also need edge flow. Like you see how they have a loop right here to kind of extrude out the nose. So if you guys run into problems, please don't hesitate to pop into Sketchfab, study the edge flow. Like I did that all the time, you know. So yeah, I just wanted you guys to have a few examples of like different characters. Like this guy's a little robot guy, nice little robot, and you can go into his different textures. Like this is the roughness, this is how much the material reflects, this is how metallic that material is. Notice the eggs aren't made of metal, so they're more black. Normal map, it has that weird lighting information that we won't be able to cover, unfortunately, even though it is industry standard, and I'm a little bit upset that our curriculum can't be extended to that. But that's more of a problem with scheduling and how much you guys already need to learn in addition to this. And there's his base color. So this is the color map, or the diffuse / albedo texture that you guys have already painted, right? And this is like what they do with it. So you can get a lot of mileage out of your textures, you know. And if you go to this, if we go to this wireframe, you can see how simple this guy is. But it looks like he has more detail, you know. But yeah, so I just wanted you guys to know about Sketchfab and be able to look at some nice different models to try to get an idea of different types of topology, because I'm going to teach you how to do my character, but of course when you go home you're going to be doing your own characters, right? And everyone's character is going to be different, so you're going to need to kind of adapt, right? You're going to run into different topology problems that I'm not having because just by virtue of having a different character. But yeah, so I just want you guys to have that resource and be able to look through and study it. All right.